I'm going to turn it over to Brent, who actually has more of the factual information behind the request. I will point out that the DEI Council unanimously made passed a resolution to get this request before this board.
Thank you very much. We'll turn it over to Brent.
Thank you. And to be really efficient of time, I will simply just say that on January 26th and 27th of this past year, the JET team, the Joint Enforcement Team of the City of Seattle, including the Liquor Control Board, engaged in some activities at various LGBTQ establishments around the City of Seattle that led to a public outcry before the weekend was over, claiming that those establishments had been raided. As of Tuesday, the 29th, hold on, I'm looking at my calendar. As of Tuesday, the 30th of January, the Liquor Control Board was holding the line that this was just regular enforcement actions. Within 48 hours, they had issued a press release indicating that they were immediately severing ties with the Joint Enforcement Task Force, that they would be engaging in specific training and also review of their enforcement procedures, as well as admitting the fact that they have a history of harassing activities as recently as 2009 with their enforcement. And so the request came to me by a constituent that I took then to Q Law, which then came to the Diversity Council, to ask for additional records, to find out what exactly went on that led a state agency to reverse its position so quickly, so publicly, but yet without any further information or details, as well as the City of Seattle and the police department having issued a press release after the termination of the relationship with JET, that it was just regular enforcement actions. Anyone who has ever been to any form of liquor or bar establishment knows that they are routinely and frequently visited by regulatory agencies. Something was different on these nights. And that's what the request is to find out what happened and why, again, why there's no longer a JET team. The JET team was because there are multiple City of Seattle entities, the Seattle Fire, Seattle Police, Seattle Zoning, and Transportation, working with LCB, so they're cross-jurisdiction. And that is what they were asking, and the request was that we help get to the factual information, and there we have it.
All right. Thank you very much, Brent. Sunitha?
Add one thing. The DEI Council is not seeking this information for any purpose other than a request from one of our minority bar associations, Q Law. The DEI Council has no intention of taking a position.
Thank you very much, Sunitha. I see Jordan's hand is raised. Jordan?
Yeah, so I think this is a really important issue, and I was, as a Seattle citizen, pretty bothered when this happened. I understand, though, that there are complexities with the state bar's involvement, and the NQ Law sent this request to us. To simplify matters, I have now filed a request personally as an individual with the Liquor and Cannabis Board and with JET. So Public Records Act requests have been made from me as an individual in my own personal capacity, and I will be more than happy to share information I get with Q Law when that comes in.
I would note for the board that we've got a hard stop in 16 minutes. I don't want to cut off discussion anyway, but I would open the floor to a motion so that the discussion could continue about a particular motion.
I move that the board approve the DEI Council's request.
All right, there's a motion to approve the DEI Council's request from Sunitha. Is there a second? Is there a second? Second call for a second? Then I believe the motion dies for lack of a second. And I believe that brings us to the conclusion of our open session agenda today. Before we conclude for the day, as a brief look ahead, in roughly 15 minutes or so, this room will need to be cleared for purposes of prepping the spaces for the Quackenbush lecture. As I believe all the Board of Governors, as well as the staff, are aware, that we've been invited to the Quackenbush lecture? I'm sorry, Rex? Nancy Hawkins? Oh, okay. Nancy Hawkins, if you have your hand raised, I apologize. I can't see it, but do you have a question or a comment? Yes, Nancy.
I do. I don't know what happened in the executive session, obviously, that led to this request dying for lack of a second. Because it seems like really a no-brainer. As a lesbian in the city of Seattle, I can tell you as a member of the Bar Association that it was a terrifying experience to be raided in past years when you'd be socializing with your friends. Suddenly the police come in, guns, batons, lights come on. People who are afraid they're going to lose their job are terrified and trying to escape. We should be getting to the bottom of this, and I don't know why the Bar Association is refusing to do that. It's very disappointing.
Thank you very much, Nancy. Talking again a little bit about the immediate path forward here. In 13 minutes, the room will need to be cleared for security purposes for the forthcoming Quackenbush lecture. I want to thank everybody for their real hard work today. I've got one other item. It's not on the agenda. I guess it's a little bit informal, maybe a bit of a point of personal privilege, but I recently found out that 17 years ago today, a staff member joined the Washington State Bar Association. He's been with us through thick and thin. He's been particularly helpful today with our AV issues. I'd like to ask for a round of applause for Rex Nolte. Thank you for all that he does. Thank you for what you do. Thanks to all the WISBA staff for what you do, but it's rare that we actually have a meeting on an anniversary of somebody joining WISBA. So thank you again, sir. Appreciate what you do. All right, we are adjourned until tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Thank you all.